Okay, so our project was, let's go to Academy Mortgage. So this is, so this we have correct. I've done this detailed analysis before. What is happening right now? What is it going to happen for this website in future? So our case study was this, right? What did we discuss last time? That hey, when someone, let me, so you can see. Can you read things properly now on this one?
Yes.
Let me just call Amir. Is texting me. Hey, Amir, just want to confirm what meeting ID you are using. It's 523. Can, no, it's not 288. It's 281. 281 598. It is the exact same information which I sent before. Yes. 523-281-5998. That's correct. I think it's learn to one or learn to 100K. Just a second. Can you guys remember what was the password? Was it learn to one or learn to 100K?
Learn to earn.
Learn to one. Yeah, it's learn to one. It's two, number two, not TO. Learn to one. All right. So our case study is again, I'll talk about the, we'll just do a quick recap on what did we do last week on the Academy Mortgage project. So our goal was to find out that we get about 2,000 customers, 2,000 visitors on our site, and from that we get 20 leads. From those 20 leads, we just get 2 customers that actually get converted, right? From 20 leads to 2 customers. So if you look at the ratio is super low. And usually these numbers are like this for all companies, but having a number which is less than 3 or 4% is a bit troublesome for the company. You don't usually see these numbers anytime in like about 10% or so. Whenever you get visitors, you have a lot of drop on the site from there, because people are coming from Facebook, people are coming from some different websites. So when they come from these websites, when they look at this site, hey Amir. So once again, I'll just provide you a quick summary on what this project is about. So we are trying to find out when someone comes to this site. Our current process states that we have about 2,000 visitors coming to this site every day. From those 2,000 customers, we get about 10 people who are going to, 20 people who are going to submit their information. Submit as in they're going to submit their contact information. Once they do that, from that only 2 customers actually take loan from this company. So from 2000 visitors, only 2 customers is what you get, right? So your CEO is wondering now, what is happening? So 2 out of 2000 is like how much? Probably 0.1% is your conversion. That is too low. Usually conversions lie in between somewhere 3 to 5% for an ideal website. For a really popular website like Facebook, Google, 3 to 5% is a really ideal number. And that number grows as you grow search, as you increase the traffic. So CEO has 2 options at this point, right? CEO can think, hey, why can't we just, if we are getting 2000 visitors and 2 customers from there, so in a year we are getting probably 5,000 loans. I'm just making something up, okay? If we want to push that 5,000 loan to 20,000 loans, all we have to do is just increase our traffic by 4 times, which is instead of getting 2000 customers on our site, let's get 20,000 visitors on our site. Sorry, 4 times would be 2000. Let's get 8,000 visitors on our site now. Because if we're getting 5,000 customers a year, if you want to go to 20,000 customers a year, which is 4 times, right? So our current stat says that for every 2,000 visitors, you get 2 customers. So which means your daily visitor should increase from 2,000 to 8,000 to get you 8 customers as opposed to 2 customers. Am I right? So now CEO is wondering, should I go and use this strategy, or is there something where I can probably change few things on my site or on the process and probably just convert more customer from my site in as usual and not really have any additional traffic? Or answer could be both. Am I right? Answer could be that you increase your traffic on this site, or you improvise this site so that existing traffic gets better conversion, or you use both the approach. Am I right? So now CEO is wondering, what answer should we give?
I have a question. You told us to first address your target. So how many applications are we targeting every day or every month or every year? Is there a target?
That target is 8 applications a day, 8 customers a day.
All right.
When I say 8 customers a day, so from every 20 leads, you get 2 customers. So which means from every 80 leads, you will get 8 customers. So you want to get 80 leads every day on your site, and you have 2 options. Either you can increase the traffic to this site, or you can make your site so good that your existing site will give you more leads now every day than what it used to before. Or answer could be very well both, right? And this is the classic problem every single company is facing every single day, regardless of how big they are or how small they are. If they do not change their strategy after every few months, after every year, they're going to pay the penalty for it. Customers' mindset is shifting so fast, they have to be on top of this, right? So now CEO is wondering that, hey, I have $10 million to invest. Should I invest here or should I invest somewhere else? If I invest here, I want to make sure I get 4x returns or 5x returns at a minimum. Otherwise, I would invest in some other project. So this is the discussion happening at a director level or above director level, right? I'm trying to give you guys an idea that what happens before you start this project, like we did for Uber application. So director and everyone will work together. They'll put together a case study again, business case, whether it's agile or waterfall, it doesn't matter. They have to put together some case study to get the funding for this project. Okay. So when you create that business case, when you get the funding, after you get the funding, in agile, we do not create scope document. We do not create project charter. Okay, we have a class tomorrow to discuss about the distinctions between the BA, PO, and Scrum Master. And from today onwards, we're also going to talk about the Scrum Master role. So you will see the exact differentiation for these 3 roles from tomorrow onwards. And from today onwards, we're going to talk about agile a lot, because 70% chances are there that you will land in a project which is in agile environment. It may not be complete agile. It may be hybrid in between waterfall and agile, because a lot of companies are moving from waterfall to agile. So they're not yet there completely. But chances are very high that you will land job in agile more than waterfall. If you work in California, Dallas, New York, Boston, Chicago, Austin, these are or Florida. These are really highly sought after cities for such talent. And if you're applying for jobs in these areas, you will find that you are probably going to get agile methodology in the project as opposed to waterfall. So it moots the point of creating BRD and FRD. You would not have to create that. Although you have to say this in the interview, but at a job, nobody's going to expect this from you. Okay. So in Agile, we discussed three things. I'm just trying to give you a recap so we can probably get further in this project. So there are, in Agile, we do three things. We do wish list, we do product backlog, and we do sprint backlog, right? And let me pull up that Excel sheet so that we.
So there won't be a fresh project, like, like we working on an existing website. This
This is
mortgage.
not an existing, this is, I did not get your question. Sorry, Shrey. I cut you off. Can you repeat again?
I'm saying just like we create a new app, right? So, and this project is that we're doing is it's on an existing website. This website already exists. So, is like, are we gonna get the the project in at the work, like
90% of the web projects would be redesigned. Imagine someone is hiring a team of $1 million. It's very hard for you to believe that that company will not have a website.
Okay.
So if they hire like 10 people, if their average salary is $100,000, it's like already $1 million is what you're putting in a year. And they definitely have a website for that. They may not have all the pages necessarily on that site or all the components or all the functionality. You keep adding on that, but there will be a raw website available for customers where they come online and do something. Nisha had a question.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about our example in the very first class. And we talked about the W5H strategy. So is this something that will apply here? And the other question I have is that if it's going to be a team of BAs and we are brought in the middle of the project, should we start from scratch? Like, should we start with this W5H approach?
This is a golden rule, guys. Okay. And again, this is not an interview thing that you would have to say, but in your head, whenever you're starting on any new project, W5H is given. Right? When you create business case, you cannot create business case without W5H. So whenever you're talking to anyone in your company, whenever you are brought in the team, they are kickstarting the project, which means somebody has defined this W5H before you. So you just have to ask those questions to get an understanding what are we doing on this project. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Let's look for. I'm opening the previous spreadsheet that we were looking at last class. So these are the three things we talked about. In Agile, we have three categories: wish list, product backlog, and sprint backlog. In wish list, we just brainstorm list of ideas. We create some epics and features from there. In product backlog, we identify dependencies. We identify the prioritization for each epic and feature. Epic and feature, again, guys, don't get confused. It's just the project category and project subcategory, nothing else. Then instead of business requirements document in this class, we are going to create user stories today for this project. Okay. So what a wish list looks like. I've given you an example here. So if you are looking to work on an e-commerce project, this is what you would need for e-commerce project. You would need a sign up and login feature. Login feature is sign up, forgot password, guest checkout. You will need search function for an e-commerce site. You will need cart functionality. So cart is an epic, and all these things below are the features. Then you have checkout process. Under checkout process, you have payment method, which is debit card, Amazon gift card, PayPal, Stripe, Amazon, credit card, use rewards and whatnot. Cash on delivery, save card information and address. Returns, handling returns would be return item, return request refund, return shipping label, how the rewards are going to work, shipping and handling. There are these four things: email, customer care number, chat, FAQ. Under product, you would want to see what is the product availability, product description, images for each product, product title, reviews, price, compare. This is all you see currently on Amazon. Any e-commerce store that you want to build, at a minimum, you would think about these capabilities. Discounted price for color and size options. Like color and size, I mean by color and sizes, if you have a shirt can go in different sizes and different colors, right? If you have some kind of sofa that can go in different size and different colors. So providing a different color and size options when you are putting your listing out there. You have a seller and vendor where vendors can sign up their profile like drivers do on the Uber app. They sign up with Amazon or their partner and they start adding products here. So customers can see those products and buy that from them. So at a minimum, these are the wish list. So this wish list will be produced in company as we discussed in our last class. There will be 8 hours long brainstorming session every day for a week. They will give you sticky notes. You write your thought on it, what this website should have, without having any limitation in your head that should we do this or should we not do this? Is it going to be more expensive? Is it going to be technically feasible? Do not worry about anything. Just start adding all this information that you see here. And once you do that, you start categorizing them as epics and sub-epics. So what I've done is all the things that you see in bullet point here, bold, like search function, cart function, returns, rewards, shipping and handling. I've categorized them as epics. Under each of these epics, there are several other functionalities, which is sub features. So this is what we do as part of the wish list over here. Okay, and again, this is an 8 hours long session in the company. Sometimes it can go for multiple days. And the goal is to come up with the ideas, with the suggestions. It's a very open-minded session. If you guys remember in our last session when we were discussing this, it was a little difficult to be open-minded, right? And not give our feedback immediately to everyone. So goal of this meeting is that we need to create a safe environment where people feel encouraged to share their ideas. And if we have any counter question on those ideas, we can always just write it down and park it when we are ready to start discussions on those things. We cannot discuss, we cannot think about the ideas and about the feasibility at the same time. There's a different method to think about feasibility. There's a different mindset that requires for ideation. Ideation is like thinking about multiple ideas and going on that circle. And there is a different mindset required for executing these ideas. Those three are completely different things. So we need to switch the gear in our mind. Hey, we are in innovation session. We should let everyone chime in, let them speak, and we should be feeling comfortable to chime in as well. You should not have a worry that, hey, am I making a stupid statement? If you feel it is something like this, just call out. Hey, I might be stupid to ask this, but I really want to ask this because this is my first week in the office. Be confident when you're asking a stupid question as well. There is nothing wrong in that. And most of the times people will say, there is no question is stupid question is what they would say. Although they're going to judge you on that, but they're going to say this. So you feel comfortable to share your ideas. Okay. So in wishlist, this is what we do. So what we're trying to do right now, I'm going to create this wishlist product backlog and sprint backlog for our project. Okay. So if you want to make this Academy Mortgage website, I'm going to create wish list for our Academy Mortgage project website. So I'm just going to talk about the high level features. What are the features here? Find a loan officer. So you don't have to think that whether these things are existing right now or not. Currently, we're assuming that we have to re-engineer or build a new experience for the entire website. So what capabilities we have in existing website and what do we need in the future website is what we want to find out. So first is, we'll say in the wish list, we absolutely need something called find a loan officer. We need a
zip code.
No, I'm talking about functionality. Zip code is a field. Let me give you some examples. Education.
Products.
When you said find a loan officer, in the website it says connect with a loan officer. So
It doesn't matter. We don't have to go into the specific. That's what I was trying to say. Brainstorming session is about sharing ideas, what this website should have. It's a legal or marketing team's concern. Should we say find a loan officer or show a loan officer? You don't get carried forward with the lower level details. You are handling it like 50,000 feet view right now. You're talking about some bullet points.
Customer sign up.
Customer sign up, yes. Then we have online chat.
Quote, online quotes or something, or
Products.
Online quotes. When you say products, Zubair, can you please explain me what the products are?
I mean, what we offer, what we're going to offer in the website.
Yes.
Apply now.
Product offerings.
online chat. Yeah, that's available.
Yes.
Okay. Come.
Apply now.
Sorry.
Apply now. The
Apply now functionality. Again, apply now is a button. What do we mean by apply now?
Quick
Is
approval.
contact information, right? Do you mean lead or do you mean loan information? Apply now can do two things. You can apply for a loan or you can apply so that someone can contact you.
loan. Apply for loan.
Quick
Market
approval.
comparison to other competitors, kind of thing.
I mean rate comparison, not market,
Yeah.
right?
And especially for loans, it's also the interest. So which says that offering this % of interest.
Yeah. So I think it's part of rate comparison with
Yeah.
competitors. What else?
Today's rate.
Today's rate is called promotion rates, promotional rates.
Yes.
What's next?
Because I think in mortgage industry, the rates opens every day. So you have to do what they are.
Customer feedback, where you show or highlight customer experience or customer ratings where they've given 5-star reviews.
Customer feedback and customer reviews are different things in my mind. What else?
Customer support.
Customer support. Yes. What else?
Also something about their loan officers, how qualified they are, the industry experience.
About us.
About us, loan officers, onboarding loan officer. Can I say that? Onboarding loan officer.
And how well spread they are. It's not just maybe, they have multiple locations and.
Locations as in unit.
I mean, the bigger they are across the US, the better, I think.
You mean the company or loan officers portfolio?
The company. So, I mean, they are serving this
It's called
many
footprint states.
people.
Company
Yeah.
called as footprint states or out of footprint states.
I have a suggestion. Usually customers are not very, first time especially, they're not very savvy with how to approach things, and they need a help desk. Maybe we can create a help desk that would encourage them to apply.
Or a video in those lines then,
And then the help desk, we can add frequently asked questions so that the first stage would be to look at those. If you get the answer, good. If not, then you can go to the help desk. And then if that doesn't solve it, maybe a contact line that we'll call you, make it easy. If you have a question, you don't have the time, just put it here, we'll contact you. Somebody will contact you to help you fill in the application. That would encourage a lot of people, especially the first time ones.
Yep. And let's contact you.
So does apply for a loan online, does it get a quick quote? Because that's what customers do, right? That to get a quick quote, they'll just fill out the form and then immediately somebody calls them back. So does that come under apply for a loan online or get a quick
It could be.
quote?
It could be because when you get that quote will it's a portion of that journey to become a customer. Once you get that quote, now that quote gets approved. You have to sign the documents. Then they will approve, and then you get the funding, right? So it's a part of it. So you can say if you have an option to say here, apply for a loan online. You can probably specify if you want to say there are different ways that it goes in the mortgage industry, right? If I remember in mortgage, they say it as lead, prequal, then booked applications. Booked applications is what they would say. Prequal, you understand the meaning of pre-qualification?
Yeah.
You have a loan for your
Yes.
home, you need a pre-qualification letter, right? So there is a lead, there is a pre-qualification, there is booked application after that. After the booked application, application under review, and then finally you close the loan, right? So it's up to you, like as a company and companies members, to define what level of online application we're talking about from here. Are you talking about end to end, and finally at the end, what is going to happen? Make a payment and close your loan online. This is a customer journey, right, at a high level. From this, what information needs to be provided online? It's a company's decision, your group's decision, your manager's decision. What's next?
Maybe I have a suggestion. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I can type while I'm listening. That's fine.
Okay. What we need to put up USPs because we're thinking about the user. How are we different? Just highlight them because everybody's going to carry this. But how are we different?
Your voice is breaking, Amin.
Okay, I'll try later. I'll type it.
Okay. Or you can type your question if it is fine. I can read your question and go from there. So at a high level, this is what I'm seeing is the wish list for us, right? Now from this one, we need to start categorizing and categorizing them into epics and features. Okay. And let me see if there is anything else that comes to our head when we do this. How we measure success, about us, who we are.
I think we missed the most important part. Home buyer education.
So I think I covered it on the top. Educational calculators and educational videos is somewhere here. News and all that is not so irrelevant. And I click on search. So you can search for a loan officer or a branch. So search is, where is the search? Search for a loan officer, search for a branch, search for salt, search salt and filter, search results. So this is just a mini session of what we do in the brainstorming session. There will be someone who will be taking notes like this, or you are just putting something where everyone can see what you're writing in your comments, but nobody can see who is typing there. Or you use sticky notes, like there will be 21 sticky notes like this, and just put it on the wall. Okay, you stick those sticky notes on the wall. So our goal is to use this list and prioritize things as epics and sub-epics from here. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Let's go back to our Excel sheet. I'm trying to keep everything in one document for you so that you don't have to go back and forth when you're reading the information. So over here, this is what we have. This is the wish list now. So from this wish list, we have to do two things. We have to create epics and features. Okay. So what are the epics is like the high level category. So find a loan officer. Do you feel it's its own category? Am I right? Calculators. Now calculators, I'll just put as one category for now, but there could be several calculators. Calculate my monthly payment. Monthly payment calculator.
Or you can do mortgage calculator.
How much can I afford? Calculator. You will have a refinance calculator. Do you all understand refinance? How many of you have taken a loan or a mortgage before in US? Anyone else have taken loan? How many of you have taken auto loans?
I took auto.
Auto loans, right? It is not very
And
different.
even generate auto loans.
Sorry. So auto loans, if you've taken auto loans, you would know what is refinance, right? Refinance is like refinancing the existing loan. You have two options. You can do it with cash out option, like if your house is appraised, you can probably get some cash in your pocket if you want to, or you can just do a regular refinance for the amount that you owe to the bank. So there could be several more calculators here, right? And I don't want to go into too much details, but I'm just giving you an example, right? This is the wish list, this is the epics, and this is the feature under that. Online chat, customer sign up. I'm going in the same order. Customer sign up is one thing, but we also have to have customer login. So this feature would be login and sign up. Under this, we will have a lot of options. So first is, of course, sign up, then login. Then you have forgot password. You have forgot username.
New customer.
New customer would sign up, right? New customer would sign up here, right? So you log in, forgot password, forgot username. What else? Remember me. Anything else that you can think of for login? Change password. What else?
I think time limit, validity of the password for 90 days or so.
What else is security for now? Security requirements. It may not be 90. So when you're talking in the company, right, it will not be for, how would you know whether it's for 90 days or not? So we cannot, again, try to think, try to not think specifics. Try to think in generic terms right now, right? I did not say when you're talking about login, it's all part of login to make it more secure. It's a developer's job to make all the right authentication in place, all the security requirements in place. We first need to understand, do you think anybody in the room is going to be bothered by 90 days requirement right now? When we're discussing the entire year's roadmap, when it's more like when you're talking about $1 billion project, is anyone really going to worry about pennies? Right? It's like that. So the requirement that we're talking about, it has to be at a generic level. It should not be a very specific requirement. When we start writing BRD, we have to be specific that, hey, it will be 90 days. There will be 90 days requirement for auto logout or something on those. But we're not writing business requirement right now. We are one step ahead. It's before that, right? We are replacing project charter with wish list, scope document with wish list. Does that make sense, Zubair? Looks like he got dropped out. Okay, so apply for a loan. So this is all online course is part of all these things, right?
What about the capability of the app or the website for the customer to upload documents?
Yes, it's an excellent point, Nisha. So on the online application, when we do this pre-qualification or booked application, this one we can add it here, upload documents.
And I think just like Uber, there will be different categories where, you know, you have to upload your W-2 forms.
Yes. Now you're talking. Now you see why Uber app was helpful.
Yeah, the financials, last 3-year financials or tax returns and things like that.
Exactly. So this is how your knowledge is going to increase nowadays. So now you're able to connect the dots, right? So this is epics and these are features. Now our goal is, this is an interview question. So when you are working on a wish list, from that wish list, you have to identify. So I have color coded here things in green. The reason was, when we are working in agile environment, unlike waterfall, we do not put every single functionality in market on day one. If you guys remember, right? We go small, but we go multiple times in production, right? That is the essence of agile. We choose small product, put it into the production, learn from our users, come back, fix it, add more capability. As opposed to waterfall, you do everything that is listed here in 2 years and then you roll out the project. We're not going to do that. So before you make that product usable, what are the minimum things you would need for your first launch is called MVP, minimal viable product. Minimal viable product. You will hear this term in your interview as well sometimes. What is MVP? How do you define MVP? Right? So in the e-commerce project, I'm just giving you an example. How do we think about it, right? At a minimum, I need a guest checkout option. I need a search option. I need a cart function. Whatever I've highlighted in green here, I need a FAQ. I need some kind of product description. It's okay if product availability is not given. I need some kind of shipment options there where we are able to deliver things at customer's house because it's an online platform. Some kind of promotion management, some seller's profile and review, but not preferred vendor and seller's company name and all. We will not worry about that right now. So what I'm proposing is in MVP, whatever I've highlighted in green here, that should absolutely be part of our product launch on day one. Otherwise, we are just going to get poor feedback. Just imagine if you open a bank account with a bank which is new, they tell you that, hey, we can deposit money, but we cannot transfer the money. Would you work with that bank?
No.
No, right? Just imagine Uber tells you that, hey, you can request for a ride, but you will not be informed when driver is coming at your place. Would you go with Uber?
No.
So holistically, when you think about a product, it should make sense, right? It should make sense that, hey, what we are launching in market is usable. So we want to go small, but not to a level where it is not usable. Otherwise, it will attract negative feedback, right? So that's where, as a product owner, whatever we are in agile, we do not have business analyst role in 60% or 70% companies. Only 30 or 40% companies have business analyst role. So starting today, whatever we are talking about right now, it's all product owner. There are elements of business analyst that a product owner has to take care of, which we will cover when we go deeper in the project. But starting today until tomorrow, everything that we're going to discuss, it's all product owner, just for your knowledge. And we are going to have this extensive discussion one more time tomorrow. So please remove that question from your head if you have it right now. So as a product owner, it's your job to look at this entire list of features. And if your boss is asking that, hey, I want first release in 3 months from now, right? You have to go back to your team, share this information with them, just have initial understanding from your side, right? What is minimum, at a minimum you would need? You would need a sign up and login. You would at least need this sign up, login, forgot password, 3 things. You would need security requirements for sure. No, customers are not going to show you mercy. If your company is being hacked, they're going to sue you for that. right? So security requirements is absolutely you have to make sure. Out of all this entire loan application that you see here, I may want to just stop here for my first launch. This all can come after that, because this is a pretty massive project. This can take this what we're talking about here is a workflow. This workflow can take, the companies take this workflow to build about 10 years or 12 years. So no company has capability to build this entire flow of booked application, upload documents, and application under review. This things that you're seeing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are vendor tools that we have to use for that. And for these vendor tools, there are several tools out there in the market. They will evaluate them and then they will integrate their company's information. So the way it's going to work is, you will launch pre-qualification. All information from pre-qualification should go to the vendor tool, and then the journey continues from there. So this tool will give access to underwriter, will give access to the funding people who are going to review your loan. Most likely, who are the people who are going to review your loan? Loan officer, a person which is called underwriter is having a final say whether your loan is approved or not, right? And anybody from loan officer until underwriter, there are like processor in the companies. There are several other roles. We don't have to worry about that right now, but just for your knowledge. So that entire workflow is being handled in that third party. There is a system to manage that. This is all third party tool. Sorry, what? Your voice was cutting.
Isn't security is also like a
These are $1 billion tools. Security requirements, there are tools as well for that. Yes, that's correct. Third party tools here also. And there will be some in-house coding though, plus in-house. Whenever you build something in your company, your company's developers are building something, it's all in-house. Okay.
I think third-party tools might also include the credit rating from Equifax and I don't know the other one, TransUnion.
Absolutely. Credit checking is what they call it. Okay, so again, if we start doing this exercise, it will take us like 5 days, like it actually happens in the company. But we don't have 5 days, but I at least wanted to give you an idea.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Amir. So where do you do the identity check for? Because there's a lot of identity theft. I can apply in your name. But is there got to be
called identity or fraud check is what they call, and there are tools for that.
Yes.
I was assuming that was part of security requirements.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a security requirement.
Yes. So what I understand is security is also for the application itself, and then it's verification. That's also part of security. Okay, just trying to understand. Thanks.
You're right. So over here, if you see what we are doing, when we create these features and epics, right? We want to find out which of them will be built by third party, which of them will be built by our team, which of them will be built by outsourced company. Identify who is going to build this. It could be your development team, some other department in your company, some other outsourcing, third-party products. Usually you just have these options. Right. So for every item that you have here, you have to make this decision. When I say you, as a team, you're going to make this decision. You're just going to open up this option and you will say that, hey, are we going to build this or who's going to build this? Cool. Are we good so far? So you see how different is Agile as compared to Waterfall? Over here, we don't talk about project scope and all those things. We're talking about features because we want to club these features and make one release, first launch. On day one, what are we going to launch? So I'm going to say calculators. I'm going to put in calculator, I'm going to highlight monthly payment. I'm going to say I want to show only this one, monthly payment calculator. That is the first release. I want to make it a part of that. Find the loan officer, I will say it can come later. Not too worried about it right now. Because we're building online application, we first want to get online customers more, then routing them to the online offices. So does this give you an idea? What is wishlist, what is epics, and what is feature? I want to start with the actual project if you guys understand this.
Yes.
99% you are hired after this. And when you start a project, after that, when the next project comes in, you will be part of this. Chances are high that this thing is already taken care of before you join. Because this happens right when you get the funding to secure resources, hire resources, and at the same time you start kick off this session. Okay, so, and if you guys just want to do it for fun, try to use this other options at the bottom and try to create them in epics and sub-epics here and create this list for your own self. So when you're preparing for an interview, just look at this example and you would exactly know what are epics and what are not epics. But you don't use word categories and subcategories in the interview. You absolutely have to use epics and features. These are fancy words and very specific to the methodology in which we are going to develop software. Okay. So with all this being said, this is what I'm proposing that we need to build for this Academy mortgage page. This is a mock-up or a wireframe, whatever you want to call. Something really, really quick. This is more of a wireframe, not even mock-up. It is not close to mock-up yet. Just to show you. So how it is going to look like, you are on the Academy site page. Let's compare this side by side now.
But we're not supposed to do in Agile, right? Wireframes.
We are supposed to do wireframes, user journey. We are just not creating BRD and FRD.
Okay.
We are still going to do user journey, wireframes, mockups, prototypes, everything else in that. And you will be surprised that a lot of people have this misperception about Agile when they say it's less documentation and all. When we'll start talking more about this, when we start talking more about this, you will see Agile is just the updated version of waterfall, right? So again, just to give you a simple example in layman terms, if you want to construct a house, right? It doesn't matter whether you're going to use waterfall or whether you're going to use Agile. You will need the exact same raw material to build the house, right? You might start things differently. You might change things in your plan on how to pursue things, but your final product and vision is not going to change. You need to build a house, and the same raw material which you need in waterfall, you will need in Agile as well, right? And that raw material in our case is requirements. So how you provide that requirements is in the question right now, and which we're going to cover in the class later today. It's user stories and communication. That's the two things we use to break BRD and FRD cycle. We don't want to get into that. But we're going to talk about that in a few minutes from now. Are we good so far? Okay. So on this site, what I'm going to propose now, that hey, we see that this site has all these buttons for apply now and all on the top, which was very hidden. It was not visible to see those buttons on the top, right? We had apply now here. We had some calculators. This was all buried in the in this list here. Or I have to go and find out each loan program, then click on these things, right? So it was not very user friendly. So after doing customer research or like finding out data, how I've made this decision. I've used data. I worked with data analysis team with all the feedback that you have given me last week. I will take that feedback. I will work with my data analysis team to find out were this really an issue on our site. They have data. How many people came to our site? How many dropped off on what page and what time? how much time they've spent per session, right? When they give me the data, I'll try to map that data and try to see, hey, what we were thinking is actually a problem for our users. What I was thinking, it does not look like it's much of a problem here. So there maybe you will see a pattern. Customer goes to rates page and drop off from there. So out of 2,000 visitors, 1,500 visitors went to rates page and just dropped off from there. So does it mean your site is bad? No. It means that something is wrong with your rates. Either it's too high, or there is some fees that you're charging because of which people are being thrown off. Right? It's not necessarily your site. So you need to find out on what pages people are dropping out. Finding out that information will tell you what are the customer challenges. This is first thing that you do. After brainstorming session, you collect the feedback from everyone on what are the good things and bad things of the site. You run through these bad things or good things using data, both, not just good things or bad things. You'll use both good information and bad information, run it against data. You'll have a meeting with data analysis team and tell them, hey, can you help me find out this information? How true is this? And you will, it's all discussion, communication. There is no documentation for this. This is all discussion. Now we are in Agile. Agile is more about communication, not about documentation. We need to talk. It's more about military, right? As I said before. So we work as a team. You talk to a data analysis person, he will tell you, hey, these are the data, this is the data, this is the data, this is the data for these things. When they give you the data, now you try to correlate, is when I say things are good, is it really good? When I say things are bad, is it really bad? Once you confirm that, yes, this is good and this is bad. Now you actually, not you, but you will have some person in your company which is called customer research person. That person will call customers and try to find out, hey, you have used our sites in the past. What kind of suggestions do you have for us? So collecting information from them, matching our data, customers' feedback, and the information that you've gathered from your company's internal resource, like your team members and your experts. We're going to tie up all these three things with the competitor's website. Please understand the framework. You will tie customer research, you will tie data, you will tie your list of pros and cons with competitors' website, with your competitor's website or portal. Let's not use word website from today onwards. We will say this is the portal, online portal for our customers, PORTAL, portal. So we're going to compare this portal with our competitor's portal. And now we're trying to find out how our competitors have solved these challenges. Are you doing something different than them or not? Right? This is all research. This is, you'll get about 2 to 3 weeks. You literally just go to 5 different sites, scan their website, what they're offering, what kind of features they're offering, what kind of features we are not offering. Like they're offering chat, we're not offering chat. They're offering loans up to $50,000. We are offering loans up to only $5,000. Their website is more beautiful than us. Their website is very concise. You can easily see everything on the website. There are calculators available. All those things are really, really good. On our side, when I come, I have to find everything. That it could be that simple as that, right? All you're doing is, and you will get your list of competitors from your business director or the project sponsor. When they create the business case, when they get the funding, they have to call out their competitor's name in that. So you can get this list from them. Just go to their site, see how they do things. That itself will give you an immense idea on what the site should look like. So now combining all this will land you up to a decision that our page could look something like this. Okay, so no assumptions. There is no hard feelings here. When you suggest some things, people will just turn down that for you. People will say that, hey, this is not a good idea. Although you feel it is super good, like extremely great idea, people will just not get convinced, and you will get frustrated. Hey, I'm saying this. I know the market, man. I've done the research. Why are you not believing me? Keep your emotions aside. It's a very hard thing to do. I still am not able to do that when I'm in the meetings. If I'm passionate about something in my meetings, and if someone cut me off there, or if someone tells me that, hey, this is not a feasible idea, I literally get irritated on the spot. Right? And that's not a good thing to do. That's my weakness. I don't want you guys to do the same thing. And so goal is to make sure we throw ideas and let people make decisions. we throw ideas and let people make decisions. And when they make wrong decision, we have to correct them and we say, this is not right. Instead of us going and making decisions in first place, we have to come on the second line, not on the front line. Let them make decision first and then you make a decision. It will help you, because if you make decision and things go wrong, people will say that you made a decision. You are the one who's responsible now. But if others have made like 5 decisions out of 10 decisions, at least those 5 decisions are not in your control anymore. You can tell, hey, this decision was taken by you. If something goes wrong with the decision, it's not you, it's someone else who's responsible for that. And you'll find 2 types of people there: people who are desperate to make decisions, like they love doing that, and there are people who just are really, really scared of making decisions. So you have to work with 2 different personalities when you're making decisions, and work with their personality and convince them. And I'll be working with you when you find those stakeholders after you secure a job, and helping you exactly what to say, what not to say, how to pin him down, how to write emails so that he has to agree to you if he still feels scared. So all those things will come part of it, but it's not super important right now for the class. So the proposal is, when customer comes on this page, we learned 3 or 4 things. Customer wants to see testimonials so that they can build trust for our company. They usually come from Google. They type our company's name, Academy Mortgage. They go on Google and they come to this page. Or they're looking for mortgage and they come to our page from some advertisement. So customers are just exploring at this point. They are not ready to be our customers. They're exploring about our site. They do not know what this site is about. And when they come, what are they exploring? They're exploring only 3 or 4 things. So trust is gained by testimonials, right? If we have testimonials somewhere on the page, I'm not even dictating the positions here. I'm just saying some testimonials should be there. How it should look like, whether should we have a photo, should we have a video, should we have this big testimonial, should we have this small, should we have just one-liner, should we have star rating? I'm not saying anything here. Pure wireframe, thinking at 50,000 feet view. Some kind of testimonial we have to provide here to earn trust from our customers. Second, I want to make sure that we show them today's mortgage rates. That's the most important thing people look for when they come to the site. Our data will tell us that if you have 2,000 visitors coming to your site every day, 1,000 people have at least checked today's mortgage rate or clicked on interest rate. At least 1,000 people from that. That tells you that this is a very important section that you need. So today's mortgage rate is one section that you would put. Next is you will provide some calculator where customers can find out their monthly payment for the loan that they're going to take. And third is they have to submit contact information right here and then. So you see, when you open this site now, just imagine instead of this banner, you have these 4 sections here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like we discussed. Do you even have to scroll further to do anything on the site after this? 70% or 80% of our needs have been met here, just in this area. So what you have done, you have reduced number of clicks. You have made your website more relevant to customers' need, super concise, and you just have to manage this one section to manage 80% of your customers now. As opposed to managing 10 different pages here, you just have to manage one simple banner and all your customer needs have been maintained here. So when our goal is again, 20% effort, 80% output. Never forget this throughout your life, whatever you do, 20% effort, 80% output. If you're not getting that, something is wrong. Okay. So with this design, this is what I'm proposing. Do you guys feel this is a genuine way to solve this?
Yes.
Cool. So this is our project. We are going to write user stories for this page. And this is just one of the page. But if you look at this entire project that we created here, this is going to have like how many? Thousands of pages. This is an online portal, right? If you include all these things, there are going to be thousands of pages. But this page itself that we are building right now, this page has a lot more things in it. It may just look like a page. It's more than that. Hence, I'm saying it's a portal. As we progress further in the class, you will see how complicated it is to build this page. Okay, because there are a lot of business rules and regulations that comes here. And this is about 3 to 6 months project. 3 to 6 months in Agile. Okay. So, any questions so far? Are you guys following the foundation of the project? Are we all good? If this looks good, our next step is to start writing the user stories. So what we have done, if you go back to our wish list, we have defined these features. And from these features, I've called out, so we have these 3 things, right? Wish list, product backlog, and sprint backlog. So in this product backlog, what I've done is I've identified dependencies based on the data. I've said this is what we want to build. This is what needs to go live. This will be part of one feature or multiple features. It doesn't matter. This is what we are going live with. So we have one calculator, one lead egg form, today's promotional rate, and some navigation and testimonial, and branch and phone number. So I'll put this here, branch and phone number. I'll say we can include find a loan officer if we have to. Let's include that. Find a loan officer, calculator, sign up, login, forgot password, lead and pre-qualification. Pre-qualification, I'm saying not important right now. Because if you see on this page, it is not a pre-qualification. All we are doing is just submitting the contact information for a customer, right?
So are we creating user story just for the epics and just for the prioritized list or everything?
We've not started a topic yet. Branch and phone number, branch phone number, and details around this. Then you have testimonials. So when you're discussing product backlog, as part of the product backlog, this is what you walk out with. You work across multiple epics, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. You work across 6 different epics. From that, you have handpicked key functionalities, and only those things will go live in your first launch. This is what you do in product backlog. This is the discussion you have here. Identify dependencies and prioritize epics or features. Dependencies is nothing but identifying all stakeholders from digital team, marketing team, legal team, your security requirements, and all those people you have to pull in to tell them, hey, this is what is coming up next. So when you launch your first product, you'll have about 3 months or so, 3 months or so, and you want to build this product, which is deployed in production, and customers can use this product on your behalf. Okay, customers can start getting online, customers can start using this product. So this is what we do in product backlog. And I'll take a pause here. And last hour of the session, we're going to talk about the sprint backlog and the user stories. And we're going to start writing user stories for this project from today onwards. Just want to take a pause here. I think it's been an hour and a half. Not sure if you guys are able to focus or you need a break. Remind me, I can go on and on, guys. You have to remind me for break. Should we go for break?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Certainly, we need a break.
Yep. Cool. I'll get back in 5 minutes.
Morning, Abdul.
Hey, good morning.
Hey everyone, are you all back? Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, we can probably get started. See Hassan, I don't see Amir. I think I'll let him join. So, quick check of what we have done in the class.
I'm here.
Hey Amir.
Hi.
So, if you guys, I think originally we said we are going to just do 3 projects in the class before you were joining. But if you are realizing we've almost covered 5 or 6 projects, which is like almost 3 years of work experience by now, if you feel. The reason I'm saying is this. So we have covered Uber passenger app. Uber driver app was purely on assignment side, right? Which you guys pulled it off on your own, creating the user journey, creating the process flow, creating the mockups. And you've also written the BRD on that. So one project on Uber app passenger, one project on Uber driver app. Within those, payments itself is such a big project you can't even imagine. There will be a separate team working on payment. There will be a separate team working on the pricing, like how the logic is working to show prices to the customer. So let's not even go there, but I'm just saying at a high level, those 2 topics we have covered. We have covered a similar mobile application project for home service in Uber, which for both the homeowner and service provider. I just showed you a glimpse of it, right? What it looks like. And there are some other tools available. I can share that with you if you want to get more knowledge on that. Just go through those tools and you will exactly know what those projects are about. The 5th one that we talked about today was the at a very, very high level e-commerce project. It's a very simple and very straightforward project. Hence, I don't get into too much details of that. But I think what I'm more excited about is the digital mortgage project right now. After this, there is one more project which is on marketing side, connecting this mobile application and this online portal that we're looking at, how people connected with the marketing needs, how that works. We're going to talk about that in our next week's class. But overall, like if you put together your questions list from this class of this 6 or 7 different projects that we have done, I can guarantee you will come up with some extremely smart questions in your company, and you will be able to grasp things pretty quickly from there on. Okay, so trust your knowledge, trust the information that we are sharing in the class. And I also want to share a good news with you all. I think this was my first batch this year after December. I had like 6 people in my training in December. 3 of them got placed until by I think February first week or so. And I've got some messages from them that I want to share with you all. And I'll just pause the. All right. Any questions? It was just to show you because I think there are few people in the last interview class, they were worried on how would we know things? What are we discussing in the class? Is it really valid or not, right? Just want to give you an idea on what people think after they secure the job. Cool. Any questions before we start the actual user stories on this? Let's talk about. I thought you guys would be excited that 3 people got job in like less than 6 weeks. Doesn't look like I see excitement on your faces, at least because you are not on webcam.
You're right about that. We was expecting us to be getting a job that quick.
And as long as I'm
They
saying,
have their digital face masks.
what was that straight?
I said they have their digital face masks on.
Digital face mask. Okay.
You can't see their expression.
Yep. But overall, the goal to share those stories was just to let you know, guys. You just have 2 options from now. Think about that. Hey, I don't know anything or is this going to be helpful or not, or just show the trust and just go and kill it, right? Just have one-minded zone that, hey, I want to get this done. Let me do everything that is being taught in the training, follow every single step, and you'll get through this. Chances are very, very high that you'll get through this. But if you keep debating whether we are learning real experience here or not, is this how it is going to work in the office and all, you will keep confusing yourself and you will waste your energy in thinking about that as opposed to applying for the jobs. You need excitement, you need confidence, because job search is not an easy phase. When we start doing that, it's sometimes tricky. Sometimes you get called, sometimes you don't get called. A lot of people get discouraged sometimes, but patience is the key there. And confidence is really, really important in that phase. And you will have 2 mock calls before that. So I will make sure that I'm giving you enough confidence in those mock calls and helping you with that so that you are able to at least be presentable when you start talking to the recruiters. So with that being said, let's start talking about the actual user stories. Yes, I see some comments. I do agree with what you have said in the chat, guys. I sometimes wish that I have like big monitor, but regardless of me having big monitor is not going to help because you all are still going to see in the small screen, right? I struggle with fitting all things in one screen. Okay, so before we start writing user stories, you guys need to know these 4 tools: version 1, Rally, Jira, and Azure DevOps. If you ask me what are the most popular ones, these 2 are the popular ones: Jira, Azure DevOps. And again, I want you all to go to Microsoft Teams. Sorry, not Teams. They have another product. If you go on Microsoft site, when you click on product here, there is an option where it says Azure, not Teams, not Teams, not Teams. Go to Microsoft.com. I created an account for that. Microsoft Azure. So unlike BRD and FRD, when you are in Agile, since communication is very clear and transparency is the utmost important thing in Agile. Like in Waterfall, when you are working in one thing, in one phase, in requirement analysis phase, no one else is worried about it, right? You are the only one who's driving everything. In Agile, it's not the way. You want to make sure that everyone, you're interacting with everyone and people are knowing what you're doing, what you're working on. Just approving this request. I had to restart my laptop, otherwise I had this opened up before. Please write this down, Microsoft Azure DevOps. And when you go to this link, let me copy this link and paste it in the chat so you guys have this. I'll probably put this in the document. And when you go here, click on Start Free. When you click on Start Free, you can probably enroll your profile, create a profile. I think it gives a lifetime free profile. You can create a profile for lifetime. There is no charge for that.
Can you also download
Download what?
the app for this?
Yeah, you can. For all Microsoft products, there is an app. So if you see, I'm logged in right now, and training solutions. I have to go to Azure board. So when you're logged in, it will show you something like this. You need to find this Azure boards. And this tells you how this board looks like. You see all these different options here. This is more like a wall. These are the sticky notes. You move around things here. These are digital sticky notes. And this is a very important tool that you need to use in Agile, Azure DevOps or Jira. One of them would be the one that you end up using. If it makes it easy for you, I'll create one outlook.com email ID, and it will help you like work on these things pretty easily, like create these software accounts and all. So over here, you see this overview, boards, work items, backlog, sprint and all. In this board, which you see here, there will be your team names here. If your company has like 50 teams, there will be 50 team names here. Okay. I'm just going to walk you through one tool. All the tools like Jira, version 1, they're all looking pretty similar. You just need to know one tool and you will be able to navigate through other tools. It's more like if you know Word, you will know other competitors of Word, how to use them. So over here, you select your team. I'm selecting this one, James Team Board. I can rename these labels if I want to. Over here, it says to do, doing, and done. Usually this will become my wish list. And I can probably, if I want, I can put all the sticky notes here. I can just click on an item here. I can start adding here, online chat. People can start doing this in real time. When you're having a brainstorming session, whatever we did in the Excel sheet, that same exercise could have been performed here. I just need to share this link with everyone, and they can all, like if the entire team is part of this, they will all have access to this. You all put your lists here. Then what you will do, you'll put epics and features here, and you'll just drag and drop, and you'll club them. Make sense? This is how you use. So whatever we did was in Excel. In reality, in Office, you do using sticky notes. These are digital sticky notes. Under backlog, this is where you see a list of user stories. There would be 100 or 200 user stories here. Or there will be 0 and you have to create everything from scratch, right? So goal is, this is called backlog. What do you mean by backlog? Backlog is anything that is in the list to be worked upon, right? You will say that, hey, I have a backlog of things to take care of for my home. I have a backlog of things to take care of for my personal things. There is a backlog of something that you do work on. So this backlog is like this list of 100 or 200 user stories or 1,000 user stories if it's a big company. And for each user story, there will be a sprint number assigned. And I'm going to talk about those things in our next class. What are the sprint numbers and all to make it more easy for you. But for now, I just want to let you know that this is where you will see the list of user stories. And this is the sprint. When you click on a sprint, every sprint is of 2 weeks. Most likely you see sprint 1. There will be numbers like this: sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5, 6, up to sprint 24 for 12-month sprint. If it is 1 week sprint, then there will be how many? 52 sprints. One sprint for each week. If it's a 4-week sprint, you'll probably have 12 sprints here. For each sprint, there will be all the user stories that you've created under your backlog here. You'll have to assign sprint number to that. So when you click on this story, there is an option here. You see iteration here. I can assign this to sprint 1 or sprint 12. And it will go and show up on that particular sprint. So when I go to a sprint board, And when I click on this, I go to sprint 12, I will see that story there. Or right now I'm just seeing sprint 1 because I just created something for test here, right, for you all. I've tried a lot of new things in this class, which I've not done before. And but I'm hoping this will help you. So over here, this one, when you click on online portal, when you write user stories, whatever business requirements you were writing in Excel sheet, all that thing will go here now. And over here, you have a name of that person who is going to work on this. And then you will have this and all those things there. Give me 1 minute. Why is it using some other email ID? But I think that's fine. I'll just share things back. All right, so over here, so when you are starting a sprint, when you have user stories, right, all the user stories will be in ready status, which means it is ready for development team to start working on. Before they start doing any development work, right, we have to do analysis from our side and create these user stories, these tasks for them. This will be like about 15-20 tasks per sprint or 40 tasks, depending on your team's size and your size of this particular task that you're assigning here. Okay, these are called user stories. When some developer is going to start work on the story, they will just pull this into, say, to-do status. They're going to drag this and put it in to-do. Once they start working on it, they will put it in doing status here. Once it's done, they'll mark it as done. But this is the poor way. These are not the labels we use. The labels that we use is in dev, QA, UAT, and prod. Development environment, quality analyst environment, production environment, and UAT and production environment. And I'll walk you through the differences between that in our next class. Just for now, just know that whenever developer starts working on the story, he will pull this into first column, which will say development. So this task is under development right now. This story is under development. If development is complete, they will move it to the QA. So QA doesn't have to go back and check with developer again and again, hey, what stories I can go ahead and start testing. As soon as QA sees that this task is in QA status here, assume this is QA. If that person will start working on testing on that story immediately. So you do not have to communicate with each other like every single minute, right? You come to a agreement where, hey, we are going to communicate more, but we're also going to emphasize on how can we streamline the process where if someone is not in the team today, team still knows what to work on and how to work on. It's more like when you're going into the restaurant, there will be a receptionist. When receptionist assigns a table to you, right? That's like assigning a sprint. Receptionist assigns a table to you. After that, what happens? Whatever order you put, that goes to chef will come to take your, sorry, not chef, but the waiter will come to take your order. Waiter will put that information in the computer. That information will go to the several chefs inside. They will have their own queue to manage things. They will start using that bill. If you see they generate a bill, if you have seen this, they use that bill, they move that bill one after another next in line, right? Why do they do that? Just to make sure that, hey, this is the order that is done. This is the order I'm working on. This is order delivered to customer, charging money. There is no communication happening. Am I right? There is no communication happening, correct? So similar mindset. When you're working as a team, you do not, it's good to communicate, but it's good to also have some minor or small processes in place where people know what they have to work on and be more effective, right? And how would that happen? This is the dedicated options here. If someone sees that I walk in today in the morning, hey, there are like 5 stories which are in QA. As a tester, I know I have to test those 5 stories now. As a developer, I know that there are 5 stories in my backlog. I have to work on that. That's why it is called sprint backlog. Earlier, when we were creating product backlog, in product backlog, all you have is epics and features. Over here, all you have is epics and features. This is called sprint backlog because in the sprint, all you have is user stories. A lot of user stories. Yeah, go ahead, Samnit.
So when in this part, we are not as BA or PO, we are not doing anything. We are just assigning the duties.
We are not even assigning duties. All we are doing is we are creating this backlog. Do you see this backlog here?
Yes.
This backlog will have 100 stories. You'll just drag and drop and prioritize them in the right order.
But we are not doing anything over here, right?
We are creating these user stories.
But you said that the QA and the developer have to pick out the clues from here and start working on that. So it is not our part.
But
So
what they're
we
going to
can't hear.
do, tell them, you have to give them instructions, right? What you have to give them that mock-up, that user story that they have to create. So one task would be for forgot password. One task would be for forgot username, right? So you have to give requirements for that. What that screen looks like. What is the requirement for that screen? This is what you need to code. So you discuss that with them, and then they will start coding that. So that happens before the sprint starts. So when the sprint starts, development team has all information that they have to start coding on.
What is sprint?
Sprint is a 2 weeks cycle. In this 2 weeks, you do development, testing, and launch. Development, testing, and launch. Development, testing, and launch. Again and again. So you work on small products, small things, and you put them in the market.
And what is your part in that?
Our part is to make sure that that happens. Our part is mostly before that. Before that development starts, we have to come up with the user journey, mockups, and wireframes. And
So in the sprint phase, we are just like monitoring basically.
monitoring and answering the questions and answers.
Okay.
So usually you don't put lot of information in this because you don't have enough time. So unlike BRD, you're not going to write the detailed BRD or detailed steps on what is going to happen for this exact page. Or if there is a mock-up, you're just going to say in few lines or in few bullet points, this is what I want to achieve from this story. And rest everything, development team will figure out on their own. They will communicate with you and things will go from there. So communication is really key. You don't spend time on documentation more, but you spend more time on communication. Because what happens is, if you guys remember, when you write something in this, if I write something here, right, what's going to happen? If Abdul is really busy in his work, he's just going to read this blindly and not pay attention to what everyone else is working on and just end up making something which is not required. You remember one of the biggest disadvantages of Agile, we are all so focused that we can't think outside of our work, right? So that affects. So that is the reason we don't give them documentation just to read the documentation and make something. Communication is key here. If you understood something wrong from the documentation, entire project will derail from there. That is the reason we want to make sure that we talk more and provide less information here, just like high level information, like in few bullet points or several bullet points. That's all you need. And I'll show you what to write there. So a lot of companies, when they're transitioning from waterfall to Agile, they still put a lot of information here under description, like they're writing BRD. And actual
This is like a mini BRD.
mini BRD for every small things, right? But a lot of companies who are well matured, companies like Google, like Chase, like Capital One, they just give like few bullet points because they have developers of that caliber who can read those few lines and really build a quality product. But other companies are still struggling because they have not found that talent where developers can read a few lines and really create a good quality product. Or testers can think through all the scenarios. You have to pay them really high, right? And those developers are not easily available. If developers are really smart, our job would have not existed. We are existing because they are not able to do their own job. Right?
I have. So can we, in our user journey, also post flow diagrams?
Yes, you can.
Simple.
You can.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
It's like you're right. So we're going to create some stories here. So we have, I have some user stories written that I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to paste them here so that you know how to create a user story. So when you create a user story, what you have here? You have a person who has created this user story, my name here, title of the user story. You have state, which is to do, doing, or done, whatever column names you set, right? It will be grooming, it will be development, it will be testing, it will be done, it will be production. Whatever status you want to call them, you can call them here. And you assign the iteration. This is the iteration it is being assigned to, which is the sprint. In the interview, do not say iteration, always say sprint. But if someone is talking about iteration, you should know they're talking about sprint. Okay, that's a much better word than using iteration. In this, there is a link here. Whenever you create any user story, you link that with a feature or an epic. So we have created this epics or features here, right? This one. These are the epics and features, right? So every time when we work on any story, you will create these epics and features. And how do I create that? So this is the example of user story. Whatever you see in green, it's all user story. Okay, this is all logistics for you. Super simple things to know. Nothing to worry about this. And now let me create something more. So I go and create a new work item. Do you see this new work item? When I click on this drop down, it gives me an option: epic, issue, or task. I'm creating an epic. And I'll just say something test. Usually these are just like titles. Whatever we've done in Excel sheet, we'll do exactly the same thing here. This epic is created now. And I just go to the board. So in the backlog, you will see list of epics, features, and stories all together. Okay. So now I have two options, right? I can go to the board. I have to assign. I will open this user story. I have to assign an epic to this user story. So I'll just go and click on related work. I'll click on this existing item because I've already created the epic existing item. I'll just say here test. You see this epic 3, and I'm going to say relation is child. Okay. So you see this, it is assigned here. So this is parent and this story is child. Epic is parent and all the stories under that is child, correct? It's like a tree branching. So now whenever someone pulls in this epic now, they will see all the related stories here.
I'm sorry, this is really fast. Actually, I didn't get anything. This is
Me neither. I'm having a hard time.
I have a question. Number one, I have actually two questions. Why do we need this? And if it is about managing who is doing what,
Yes.
the status,
Managing.
why isn't the project manager involved? And why is the BA doing this stuff?
There is no project manager. There is no BA in Agile. And when you create BRDs in Excel sheet, there is no one can put comments in BRD. You cannot use that BRD as a streamline approach. You all have to download the BRD again and again, write something, modify in it. And BRD is like pretty detailed. You want to break down that in a very small piece, right? It's like you want to give the list of orders in a restaurant all in one go or one after another to your chefs. And how you do that? You give one receipt, right? There is a process that you have created. And people are using this tool so that when you write requirements or user stories, they are able to create user stories here and let team use this. So there is no communication required after this. It's basically if as a BA or a product owner, I'm working on 10 things, this is what the 10 things are, and this is where they are. If developer is working on 10 things, this is what they're working on, and this is where they are. And likewise for quality analyst and likewise for our Scrum Master, all these roles will have their own stories. And what they're working on and where they are, we don't have to talk about this to find out. We should just go online every day on this board, come to the sprint board, and we will exactly see what they're working on and things that they're working on, where they are right now. Is it close to being launched, or is there any blocker? Are we struggling, or we are on track? If you don't, because it is done every 2 weeks, if you do not have this lined up properly, you will spend more time in releasing things out and you will not be able to achieve the goal. This is the fastest lane. If you want to work in a fastest environment, this is the way it should be. And remember, still this is lower than startup model. But in IT world, if you want to go in Agile, this is how it starts. This is how it works. So you will use this tool for 2 things: creating user stories, which you will do in this board here. So as a BA, what you do, again, your responsibility, you come to your Scrum Master will give you this link. You will go to backlog. You see your backlog. In this backlog, you will go ahead and create a new work item. Over here, you will say, not an issue. I'm creating a user story. Just assume this is a user story for now. And I'll say, forgot password functionality. So when you create this forgot password functionality, under this now, you're going to write acceptance criteria. Forgot password functionality should have a link provided on the sign-in page. This link will route users to the forgot password screen. On this screen, there will be two password fields provided, one for confirm password, sorry, one for current, forgot password does not require current password, one for enter password, another for confirm password. Users should be able to submit this information. Please excuse my typos there. User should be able to submit this information, and password should have been reset if everything goes well. So you write this small user story and you assign, I'm just saying this is, I'm just seeing my name here, but in reality, you will have your team's name here. You will assign that story. Let's say Abdul is the person who's going to develop on this. You will assign this story to Abdul. Once you assign this to Abdul, you save and close here. Abdul will get a notification in the email. Hey, I have a story assigned. Abdul opens up this story and sees, this is what I have to work on. Right? This is what I have to work on. If you see here now, so I just have added like 3 or 4 bullet points and I'll just add one screenshot. This is all I'm giving it to Abdul. I'm not writing a BRD here.
Can you show us how to
Can you show us what?
how to assign?
Assign is right here, right on the top. You have names here. So where you're seeing my name right now, there will be several names of your team members here from this list, from this drop down. Just click on the name and it will assign the task to that particular person.
So is it not assigned?
Guys, do not worry about who is assigning when. We are going to talk about that. First, understand what is user story. We first need to understand how to write user stories. That is the most important thing. Everything else will be making sense after that. Go ahead, Samneet.
So in this stage, if there is some changes that need to be made, like let's say, you know, the QA comes up with something, but we do not like it, or our team does not approve it. Do we have that 2-week span to just go back and forth, or we have to launch the product?
That is the reason we use Agile, so that we are able to make those changes. Unlike waterfall, there is no change request process here. Right? There are ways, and we're going to talk about in more detail how those things work, how to change user stories, and how to put from one sprint to another sprint, what kind of discussion need to have. We're going to discuss all those things. But first thing, we really want to focus on understanding what is a user story and how to write that. Only when you know what is a user story, all other things in the Agile will make sense. So this tool is used as a product owner for you to create these user stories. Unlike you're not using Excel sheet here, you are using this specific tool to create your functionality requirements, whatever you want to call them. And they are called in Agile as user story. And every user story has a format. Format is, as a user, I want to do this so that
So do we still use Microsoft Teams to communicate with our team or no? Like whether in an office environment, if we're working on an Agile project?
This is the requirements document tool. This is the documentation tool. That is a chat tool.
Okay.
And there is a way where you can connect this to Teams if you want to, because both of them are Microsoft products, but nobody does that. So,
isn't it easier if both are connected?
I don't know why companies are not set up. Haven't seen someone doing it. It will be easier, but there is no use case to use them. Yeah, Abdul, you're on mute.
For each user story, like, I mean, for each task that you're assigning, it's based off of each functionality of the app. So like,
We are going to cover that.
okay.
First, I think we are talking about several things right now. My focus is very simple. I just want you to create a free account on this. Get familiar with these 2-3 tabs here: boards, backlogs, and sprint. All you do in these 3 things is create an epic, like I did for test epic. If you see, I think under this online chat, we had a test epic created here. Create an epic over here, create a feature, and create a story. That's all you want to do for using this tool. And when you create a story, what comes in that and how that entire agile process looks like, we're going to talk about that in some time. So let's just be focused. Let's just focus here right now. Let's hold our questions for the things which is not regarding this tool right now.
What's an example of an epic? Like the forgot password functionality, is that an epic or a feature?
I have gone a little late, but this is what we covered.
Oh.
We have this epics here, calculators. Under calculators, we have this different type of calculators. Monthly payment calculator, and each of them is a feature. Login and sign up is one epic. Under that, we have this is one sub feature, this is one feature, this is one feature, this is one feature.
Yeah, but can you show me Microsoft DevOps, what is feature and what is story? Yeah, right here.
I did not get your question. I think you're breaking out.
In this screen, what is epic, what is feature, and story?
Yes. What is the feature and what is the epic, the one that you were giving us an example?
So this is what I've created here. These are all user stories. Right? Feature is, if you remember, we go to the board. On the top, I showed you how to create an epic here. You see, this is an epic. There will be color coded things. Epics will be with orange color. Features will be with purple color. User stories will be with either blue or green color.
Can we group items? I don't know why there's an echo, but can we group items, like if we go back to the spreadsheet, under the epic sign up, there are 3 items: forgot password.
It's up to you. We can probably spend 2 hours discussing about this tool, or we can create the free trial account and just browse this and learn this on our own. I would like to focus on examples more than the tool. This is a self-explanatory thing, and this is available on YouTube for everyone. All you need to do is just look at 15 minutes video, and you will exactly know what this is about. This information is available easily everywhere on Google, on YouTube. You really don't need me for this. Right? So I don't want to cut you guys off on your questions, but I really want to make sure we cover quality things in class and not the things which are of less importance.
So we are overthinking, you mean?
Yes, you guys are overthinking. This is,
Yeah, but
you are using just this tool. Just imagine that. You are cutting down Excel. You are using this tool to create your requirements. That's it. Do not worry about anything else right now. Right? Nobody's going to ask you in the interview that, hey, how are you managing your board? What kind of features do you have in the Jira and all? They're not going to ask you all those things. They can just ask you that, have you used version 1 before? Have you used Rally? Have you used Azure DevOps? That's what I'm trying to tell you. In Jira and Azure DevOps, there is a free trial available for lifetime. Just create your free trial, and all you have to do is to spend 15 good minutes, and you will exactly know what this is. Go to one YouTube video. If you want, I can send you those links. Go to one YouTube video, whatever they're doing on YouTube, perform those steps on your own while watching YouTube simultaneously, and you will exactly know how to use this tool. Learning this tool is super, super easy. I'm not too worried about that.
Can you send us the links? It's an excellent idea.
I can send you.
Thank you. And I have a question. I'm getting confused between user journey and user experience. Or are they the same?
I have not used user experience word at all until now.
I was going through your lectures. You used UX and you said
User journey is what I've used, right?
Okay. All right.
User journey, and what I'm using here is user story.
I understand this. No problem.
So user journey and user experience are one and the same thing. User
Okay.
story is what we're talking about right now. User story is where you're writing, instead of writing requirements in Excel sheet, you're writing something here, and it is a specific format. And now we're going to talk about the specific format, actual user stories.
Okay.
User stories are written in a way, as a user, I want this so that this is the framework. So unlike in BRD, you just put a small requirement, right? Hey, I want to make sure there is one field. there is a submit button. You don't do this in Agile. You write it in this way first. As a user, I want to make sure I have forgot password. I see forgot password link on the sign in page so that I can request for forgot password link whenever I want. So you see, you're phrasing your entire sentence in how a user is going to use this feature. And there is a reason we do it this way, because when you have like 1,000 things in your plate, when you think as a user, do you need this? As a user, do you need this? It becomes easier for you to really prioritize, hey, do I really need this? Do user really need this information right now, or it can wait? It helps you think from the customer's perspective. So customer's perspective is the first thing that you put in mind in Agile. And this is how we write user stories. I'll give you an example now. So this is our project, right? I'm going to write user stories for this one. So this is the today's mortgage rate. Today's mortgage rate, how it looks like. Let me show you. This is how today's mortgage rate looks like. When you go to Google, today's So you see here, you have product, interest rate, and APR. And you have under that, you have products listed here, right? Several mortgage products. Likewise, if you see here in our document, this is our 2B project. You have several products listed here. Under that, you will have rate, APR, and points for each mortgage product. Now we need to write a user story for this one. Okay, so how would we write user stories for this one? Let me show you that. So I have several user stories in this document, and if you will read, it will make a lot of sense to you, but I want to pinpoint a specific user story right now. So this is the user story. So for the exact same thing that we discussed here, right? This mock-up. So as a customer, I'm trying to put it side by side so you guys can read it. Okay. Did I delete something? So as a customer, I want to make sure that mortgage homepage allows me to view promotional interest rate, which is this. APR, points, and monthly payment, promotional rate, APR, points, and monthly payment, so that I'm aware of the lowest interest rate that I could be qualifying for based on my credit history. Do you think this defines the reason why we need to show this? This is the reason user is going to use it for, right? Why would customer wants to see promotional rate? To find out what is the best rate available to them, best promotional rate available from our company side, right? So as a customer, this is the framework. As a customer, I want to ... so that this is one user story. So as part of this user story, every user story has acceptance criteria. And these are acceptance criteria. So now what I'm going to say, any questions first of all on this user story, the way it is being written? This is a different way of writing requirements than what we wrote in BRD. But knowing BRD is very important because we're going to use BRD elements here while writing the acceptance criteria. Okay. So any questions on this? Do you all understand this framework? Couple of more examples. This is for Venmo product, Venmo payments. As a customer, I want to be able to make payments using my PayPal account so that I do not have to provide my credit card information and I can sign up for Pay Quickly after my ID is complete. This is for Uber PayPal payment. Right, one user story just on PayPal payments. as a customer, I want to be able to make payments using my PayPal account so that I do not have to provide my credit card information and I can sign up for or pay quickly after my ride is complete. Further, one more example. This is for credit card. As a user, I should be able to select credit card as a payment option so that I can make payments for my rides without giving Venmo or PayPal account details. So if you remember on payment screen, when you were creating the Uber user journey, on that payment screen, we had several options: Venmo, PayPal, credit card, debit card, or gift cards, right? For each of that option, there will be one user story. So payment itself is a feature. Under that feature, we'll have multiple stories. And we may have several stories for credit card, not just one. Or we may just have one story. It depends on the complexity and the scope of the project, right? But for this credit card, so this is how you start. You just put a generic reason why are we creating this feature and what is the benefit out of it. Once you do that, so you see what I've done is I've defined the start point and the end point here. Start point is that users should be able to select credit card, and end point is that they can make payments. So which means my use case. So there are 4 different words that you need to remember now. Okay, I don't want you to get confused in this. There is user journey, there is user experience, there is user story, and there is a use case. User journey is what you guys did, all the screenshots and aligning the journey there, right? That's exactly what user experience is. User journey and user experience are very similar, not very different. This is what we're discussing right now. This is a user story. What you see, user story is made up of this as a user statement plus acceptance criteria. Use case. Use case is nothing but fancy word of scenario. There are how many ways customers can make payment? Probably Venmo payment, PayPal, credit card, debit card, and gift card. 5 different use cases. So this is called 5 different use cases. This is nothing but 5 different scenarios. But people have a habit in office, they just use jargons. Use case is nothing but scenario. Okay? Can I assume that you guys got the distinction between these 4 words? Do not confuse this. User journey, user experience are similar. User story is what we are looking at. Use case is a scenario. So when we are writing a user story, we are talking about a specific use case. This user story is written to talk about one specific use case. And that use case is that they can select the credit card and make a payment. So anything before and after that screens, we don't have to worry about that in this story. It will not be part of the story. It's not part of the scope. Because we have broken down this entire Uber user journey that we had into several different user stories. Am I making sense? We are using, if there are 500 screens in user journey, each screen will most likely become one user story or multiple user stories. Each screen from that user journey will most likely become one user story or more than one user stories. And each user story that we're talking about a scenario. On one screen, there could be multiple scenarios, right? On login screen, you have how many scenarios? You can request for forgot password. You can request for forgot username. You can probably lock someone's account. You can remember me functionality, like you can add a remember me functionality, or you can probably just log in successfully. There are 5 different scenarios on one screen. So there will be 5 different user stories for this one screen itself. So for each screen, there could be one user story or there could be several user stories. We don't know. It all depends on the type of screen we're talking about. Are we good so far?
So we are taking the user story from the functionalities.
Yes, all functionality. User story is nothing but it's just a different way of writing requirements. Whatever we have done in BRD, those are the exact same questions we are going to ask now. It's just that we are going to write it differently. And the way we start writing is this way. We try to define that entire BRD. We take entire BRD and try to break that down into small pieces now. And for each piece, there is a user story. And what that piece does, we have to call out that here. So as a user, I should be able to make credit card payments, select and make credit card payments. That's it. And that's one piece of the functionality. Entire app is so big, but this is just one specific thing we're talking about here. So let's go back to our actual user story. I've taken several examples here, guys. I'm going to send you this document so you guys can read through this user story. It will make a lot of sense once you read through this information. But let me go back on the top where we had this one. So this is how I would write a user story for this one thing. I want you to at least walk out today with from the class that you know how to write user stories, right? Acceptance criteria. There is a lot of debate in the company where your development team and your testing team will always ask for more information. Always. Like they would not like you to write the way I wrote the story here. The way I wrote this story here. This one. This is how ideally you should be providing information in Agile. You don't need this big document that we have created here. You don't need this big document like this. But when you're working with people who are moving from waterfall to Agile, they will consistently push you. Every 2 weeks, after every 2 weeks, there is a meeting on what went well and what went wrong. Every single meeting, they're going to tell, hey, you're not providing enough information in the user story. Which means I literally leave at just this. I just add a screenshot, I add this information and I'm done with the story. I do not even want to provide any further information than this because my bandwidth or my time does not support doing that. But we don't have this luxury when we are starting our first job and in first month. Okay. And even when it's a new job that you're starting off, it doesn't matter whether you worked for 10 years in the past, it doesn't matter. First 1 month or 2 months, we have to make sure we write quality user stories for two things. First, we want to show them that, hey, we exactly know how to write user stories and we need to earn teams' trust that they've hired someone who can think through these things, who can ask these questions. And second, because it is your first month in the company, if you don't get into these details like this, if you don't get into details like this, then there is a chance that you will not understand the product really well. And if you do not understand the product really well, you cannot give your sign off that everything is working well in this product. So first 1 month, we have to write detailed user stories. And again, this is not expected, but when you do this, you're just going to shine in your company. Okay, this is my trick. Whenever I start a new job, I make people rely on me. Why? Because when you give these details, I am getting more information about this project and people are coming to me now because I have written these requirements. When they start coming to me, I stop writing this information in the detail because I know now I've built a communication bridge. They know whom to reach out when they have questions. If there is not enough information in the story, they know they have to come and talk to me. So it takes a while to build that rapport, right? So when you start, you should have this level of details. And again, what do I put in the acceptance criteria? I'm sure you all have this question. So here is a smart trick on that. Just go to our BRD. BRD. Oh, not this one. I think there was a BRD that we used for doc comparison. All material, Uber, BRD, it's this one. Okay. So over here, if you remember, we have done the doc comparison, right? Let it open. So over here, do you remember these points that we discussed? These 18 points? Do you see these 18 points?
Yes.
Now here is a trick, right? In Agile, we don't provide a lot of documentation, but if you want to really earn fame in your company when you start your first job, right? Developers and the quality analyst team would never be happy with the business folks in Agile environment for one reason, because we always keep pushing them. We want to get things done faster and we don't want to provide enough details at the same time. So they always struggle to work with us and they always have complaints about us. But you will always get support from your manager because they know that you cannot provide them that kind of documentation yet, right? So first thing is, when you start your new job, you don't have to make a lot of enemies. We first want to make them understand that, hey, we understand things really well and we have to pull them on our side. So they talk for us and they tell that, hey, this person is providing me a lot of information which nobody has done this before in the company. So you literally take every single functionality and write this 18 points that you see here. This is a checklist for every story till date. I use this checklist. I go to the stories here. I put this checklist here. Just for my reference, okay? This is not for anyone else. This is how I write user stories in my company. And I can tell you, I can write user stories in like 10 minutes. One user story in 10 minutes, not more than that. Why? Because I have this checklist in front of me. I just put this list here. I start documenting my questions here. And when I start talking to a business owner or product manager, I will start asking them these questions and I'll start filling in this information here. So this story becomes a little lengthier. And then I try to cut down information from this. But the reason is I want to do it this way because I want to earn trust from people. I cannot go in the first job and tell people that, hey, I'm not going to provide you enough information. It looks bad, right? Ultimately, that's the goal. We have to make them understand that I cannot do this for every single story. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to play this politics? We're going to write 2 to 3 good stories. We need to tell them, hey, it took me about 5 hours to write this one user story. And when I gave you a story like this, it took me only 15 minutes. So I want you to understand, if you want this level of details in every single story, I can only give you 4 stories in 2 weeks. Is that okay? If not, then what can we remove from this to balance it out with what we have here? Those are the kind of discussions we need to get into. But again, this is not in first 1 month or first 2 months. This is after that. Are you guys following? So what goes in user story acceptance criteria here? Whatever I've written here, this is exactly what we have in the in these bullet points. So for any page that we create, so for example, let's now take a real example on what we've written there. Let's go to the Word document. Okay, so now we'll actually write the user story. Just give me 5 minutes, and I think I should be done with this one user story today. So validate. This is I'm calling this as quick rates section. Okay, or portlet section or portlet is the one thing. Only thing I do is whenever I write business requirement, in front of that, I'm going to add this word called validate because it's acceptance criteria. So I start everything with validate. If you want, you can follow that same pattern, but there is no standard to create requirements with validate, but it helps me. So I personally do this. Validate that quick rates portlet will display rates for 4 mortgage purchase products. What are the 4 products? It's here, 30-year, 15-year, 7-year, and 5-year. So it displays these 4 products. Second, validate that quick rates portlet will display superscript text with the product label to notify a consumer about the relevant disclosure. So I'm not sure if you're following this or not, but whenever you're looking at the rates, there is always one superscript icon on the top here. If you guys remember, whenever you work on pricing, you see this. They put disclaimers that this price and this interest rate is applicable only and only if someone has a good credit score and someone has income above a certain number, right? Then only you will be qualifying for this. So there is something that hints you that there is a disclosure associated with this label. The reason we put the disclosure is to make sure we don't give false information to customer and they don't sue us later on the road. So legal team asks us to put disclosure number for every single product, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 products. There will be 5 different disclosures at the end of the page here, after this branch information and phone number. So I'm saying that there will be a superscript, something that says A or B. When I say disclosure, this is what I'm talking about. You see something at the bottom here on every page? There is a reference to that. Okay. So the next one here is validate that the superscript associated with each product functions as hyperlink. So it is not just a number. It will not just say 30-year fixed and superscript A. It will be actually a hyperlink. When I click on that, it will take me, scroll it below and show me that disclaimer here. So validate that superscripts associated with each product functions as hyperlink. Okay. And a consumer clicking on this hyperlink or hover on the hyperlink associated with this superscript, this is not required. I'll let you read this. This is not that important, but this line is more important. It should be hyperlink. Next is validate. Solution will ensure that quick rates portlet that is presented shows current rates that are associated with each product. So we have rates here. For each product, there will be a rate. 30-year fixed will have this rate, 15-year fixed will have this rate. So for each product, there will be a rates provided. Next one is pretty similar. For each product, there will be APR provided here. And third is similar. For each product, there will be points provided here. It's a matrix that we are creating, right? And validate that the solution will ensure that quick rates portlet that is presented shows monthly payments associated with each product. I have not captured it here, but you can probably add monthly payment if you want to. So rate, APR, points, and this is your monthly payment for this product. 30-year fixed, this is your monthly payment. 15-year fixed, this is your monthly payment. So all I've described, all I've done is I've described what you see in this mockup. Is it making sense?
But don't you think it needs a high knowledge?
Your voice was breaking. It needs a high fidelity image is what you're saying?
High level product knowledge. So we don't know what product we're getting it. So like this is like too much. This is you need like high level product knowledge like for this.
So Shrey, any company that you work for, right? There is going to be an existing process and you will have to acquire that knowledge. It's not even a question. Right? When you start working in any company, they're not expecting you to know all those things in day one, right? On day one, you are going to have your downtime 2 to 3 weeks where you're going to work with people. You are going to get information from people. What is 30-year fixed? What is 15-year fixed? You need to ask those questions to them. This is the reason I'm saying that this list that we see here. What are the business rules? What are the business processes? This 18 points, you need to go back and check everything on that.
So we don't need to initially know these business like models. Like we'll figure that out eventually.
Unless you are applying as that you are an expert in this field, then there might be an expectation. I never tell my students to go with that assumption.
Before you go, give another example to create the epic and a feature and a user story in the DevOps. So we can start off.
Sorry, your voice is breaking a little bit, Shrey, for me. Can you please repeat that?
Can you give us another example before you go in the Microsoft DevOps, like to create another epic feature and the user story?
Sure. Okay. So just go to boards. I'm discarding these changes here. Just go to boards. Over here, there's an item on the top. When you click on, I will send this recording also for you all, so you guys know. When you go to boards, there is you see this new work item here. When you click on that, it only shows 3 options right now because it's a trial version. So it shows epic, issue, and task. In reality, there will be epic, features, user story, issue, and task. So 2 of them are missing here, features and user story. But because this is not set up for your company's need, this is a free trial version, they're providing it to you, right? So when you want to create an epic, all you do is, or you want to create a feature, or you want to create a user story, all you do is go to boards, click on this drop down, pick your choice, which one you want to create. If you want to create an epic, go to epic and just put a name here. I'll just say sample epic, or if you want live chat, let's make it even real, calculators. Right? This is an epic. I will create one more epic, go back. I'll create one more epic here, which will be login and sign up feature. Okay. exactly the same way, I can create features if I want to, but I don't see this here because it's a setup environment. It's a trial, it's a free trial, so they have not configured it that way. But in the company, you will see epic features and user stories. So when you create this epics, for this epics, there will be features. What are those features? We just discussed about them here. So if this is an epic, calculator is an epic, you have to create 3 features. Like this, monthly payment calculator, how much can I afford, and refinance calculator, right? So these are features. So for this class perspective, I'm going to assume that issues here are user stories and task is features just for this class purpose, okay? Because we don't have those 2 options here. So don't get confused. We are not talking about issue or task at all right now. We're just talking about epics, features, and user stories. So this is epic, this is user story, this is feature. So if I want to create this feature will be monthly payment calculator. I will create one more. I can click on these 3 dots, create copy, and I'm going to create refinance calculator. Okay, I'll go back to the boards now. I'll see all those things have been added now. So you see these 2 different features have been added now. So now I want to link this calculator is an epic. Under that we have this 2. So this is a category. These are the 2 subcategories. Subcategories are these 2. So I want to make sure that I assign this epic number is 5. So I'll go to refinance calculator here. I want to make sure I call that out which these features are part of which epic. So I'll go back here. I'll click on add link. They're part of which epic? They're part of calculator epic, which is this. So I'll select this and I'll create this relationship. I'll click on save. Same thing with the other one. If I go back, monthly payment calculator, this is also part of calculator epic. So I'll go back and create this. So this is calculator. So now you see what happens. If you want to find out that this particular epic, calculator epic has how many features in that. So you click on the calculator epic. Over here you will see, you see these 2 links. It will show you there are 2 features which are part of this epic. Now you want to create user stories. So user stories will be part of each of these features under them. So I'll go back. Assume issues are feature. Sorry, issues are user stories. So I'll create this user story now. User story 1, which is monthly payment calculator. And I'm going to create one more, just so that you know. User story 2, refinance calculator. So I save with this. And now my job is to make sure I go back to the board. I assign right features. So the hierarchy is this, right? This is the hierarchy. So you have epics, followed by features, followed by user story, followed by task or bugs. So this is the relationship that you will be seeing in the tool here. So now I will go back and I will assign them a feature, so that when someone works on this task, they know that what task they're working on. It is part of which epic. So I'll go to existing item, I'll click on here. I'll try to find out the features that I just created. I created the monthly payment calculator is the feature, right? So this is for refinance. So refinance is the bottom one. This is part of refinance calculator. Saved. And another one was part of monthly payment calculator. Monthly payment calculator. And this is, sorry. I did not open this issue. I opened the task accidentally. The story was this one, monthly payment calculator. And I need to assign an epic to that feature. I go here, existing item, and the feature is this one. So let's use a story. So over here, this is the feature. And save. So I've created this relationship of epics, features, and user stories now. So now see the beauty. Why do we do this? So as a team, you want to find out under calculator epic, how many features we have. So you click on that. Under calculator epic, we have about 2 features, which are this refinance calculator and monthly payment. Under each of this feature, how many user stories we have. So I click on this. And now again, I will click on this link. So these are the user stories I have. User story to refinance calculator. So this story is part of this feature. So when team is working on things, right, it makes it easy to track who is working on what and what is going live. There are like thousands of features in a company. How would you track them? Right. So this is a way where you don't have to communicate with someone. Everything will be done properly if you just follow these nodes in the company. So this is how you create the epics, features, and user stories. Again, just remember, all you have to do is go here into the boards, click on this drop down, create epic, create feature, create issue, create task, and you're done. That's all you have to do. Okay. And your Scrum Master, you can work with your Scrum Master who will tell you how to assign these links because you have to follow a process. So he will tell you what epics you should be using and how to follow those links. But for today's class, just assume you want to create those 3 things on your own, and you should be able to do that with this knowledge, and that's all you need.
It's like a family tree.
Yep. And if you guys want, you can use this user story document that I have here. I have like probably 14 to 15 user stories in this one. So use this document. All you have to do is just copy this. Copy this one user story and go to this user story and put your acceptance criteria. Name it that way and put your acceptance criteria and user story details here. And this becomes your story. This is your user story. So when you assign it to someone now, when I assign this to Hassan, I will put his name here. When I put his name here, he will see this information. And that's all he needs to start developing. Right. So now you see the reason is this. So there are like in every sprint, we have like 30, 40 stories like this. Every 2 weeks, we do 25 to 30 stories. Right. So it becomes easy to manage this. This is the reason we use this tool for. And I've covered this link here in the document. I will also put this in the chat. Please go to Microsoft Azure DevOps and start your free trial. It's a lifetime free account. You can use this and you can make yourself familiar with this tool if you have to. Cool. Any questions? I think we went over our time, but does this help? Does this answer your question?
Yeah.
All right. So for a second I felt today's Sunday. Today's Saturday. So we are still meeting tomorrow. Cool. So we are going to discuss about the different type of roles and responsibilities, different type of meetings that we have in Agile, and how all things work together. We're going to focus more on that tomorrow. I have one slide that I want to share it with you all. If possible, feel free to read that. So before you come to the meeting tomorrow, you would at least know what is a business analyst role at a high level. It's just one slide. It should not take you that long. Just glimpse through that, and it will exactly tell you what is a business analyst role. And everything that I have covered on that slide, you need to remember that on your fingertip for your interview. And tomorrow we are going to take one more slide for product owner, and after that you will understand exact differences between them and what you need to say in the interview for them. Who?
For tomorrow, what time are we starting?
Same time, 10 a.m.
Okay.
All right, guys. I felt we got a little slow today to cover things, but we need to ramp up probably in our future classes. We will talk about that. So I'll forward this user story document to you all. Read through them and create your account and read through the BRD slide if possible. User stories, I'm thinking, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but if you guys can probably spend an hour today, I think that hour should be more than enough for you to go through the user stories and the BRD slide that I'm going to share with you all. Okay. Cool. Have a happy Saturday, remaining one, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
So when will this for this class?
What was that?
When will the recording for this class be available?
Recordings I usually provide after a day or two because it takes about 7 to 8 hours for this class to get recorded. Then I have to upload it on YouTube and then I have to share the links and permissions and all. So there is a process. It takes about 7 to 8 hours for me to do that. Usually I will have this available by sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.
Cool. Take care.
Thank you, sir.